Hello friends, the 2024 Lok Sabha election results will profoundly impact India's political landscape. Based on various contradictory claims, three distinct scenarios emerge. Emphatic victory for the India coalition, a weakened BJP-led government, or a resounding mandate for Narendra Modi's BJP. Each outcome holds significant implications for leadership dynamics, policy shifts, coalition management, and the broader socio-political fabric of the nation. Although the Modi-led Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP has been the dominant force in Indian politics since 2014, a confluence of factors including anti-incumbency sentiments, economic challenges, and societal concerns could pave the way for the Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance or India to seize power. As a result, there would be an intense competition for the Prime Minister's position. At least that's what is expected, unless they have already reached a behind the scene agreement or tacit agreement. Several contenders may bid for the coveted role if that agreement has not been reached. Rahul Gandhi of the Indian National Congress has been a staunch opponent of Modi's polarizing politics. Despite facing criticism and being counted out at various points, he has shown resilience. Rahul has emerged as a central figure in the Congress party, particularly through his efforts to unite various opposition parties against the ruling BJP. These factors, and given the Congress party's historical legacy and his renewed political vigor, he is a strong candidate for the Prime Minister's seat. Mamata Banerjee of the Trinamool Congress is a formidable leader with a robust regional base. Known for her fiery speeches and grassroots connections, she has maintained a significant political presence. She has been keen on engaging with various opposition leaders to build alliances beyond her state. Banerjee's ambition and her party's strong presence in West Bengal give her a credible claim to national leadership. Akhilesh Yadav of the Samajwadi Party is known for his youthful energy and progressive outlook. Uttar Pradesh is India's most populous state and holds significant sway in national politics. Yadav's influence here makes him a key player in the coalition. His ability to mobilize support in Uttar Pradesh could be critical in negotiations. We do not know whether he wants to be the king, but he has an immense potential as a kingmaker. Sharad Pawar of the Nationalist Congress Party has decades of experience and is renowned for his political shrewdness and strategic mind. Despite his age, Pawar is a unifying force who could help bridge differences within the coalition. His experience and network make him an invaluable advisor and a possible consensus candidate for the PM's post. Arvind Kejriwal of the Aam Aadmi Party has a reputation for effective governance and anti-corruption measures. His governance model in Delhi, focusing on education, healthcare, and public services, has earned him a substantial following and national recognition. His populist appeal and innovative policies make him a credible contender for the Prime Minister's role. If the India coalition forms the government, it will move away from the BJP's market-oriented economic policies. Its key focus areas will include social welfare programs, increasing agricultural and energy subsidies, boosting rural development, and reforming the GST regime. Healthcare will definitely undergo a revamp under the India regime. The Ayushman Bharat scheme could be upgraded to increase coverage limits, include more treatments, and improve public healthcare infrastructure. Welfareism will be an important agenda, but it will have to balance increased social spending with fiscal prudence to avoid excessive deficits and inflation. The new government will also have to ensure effective implementation of expanded schemes, avoiding corruption and bureaucratic delays. The India Alliance had been critical of the NDA government on its failure to generate employment opportunities. So, it will have to focus on doing something substantive to reduce unemployment significantly. The tried and tested Manrega scheme may receive increased funding. New initiatives for generating jobs may also be taken. Education has been the Cinderella under successive governments. The India coalition government may make greater efforts to set this right. New policies aimed at reducing disparities and improving quality may be implemented. There is a need for increased funding for public schools, scholarships for the disadvantaged students, and better teacher training. The BJP government's muscular foreign policy has forced many South Asian countries to move away from India's sphere of influence. So, top priority may be given to improving ties with Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Maldives through confidence building measures, resolving disputes, and enhancing economic cooperation. The new government may focus on strengthening India's role in regional organizations like SAARC and BIMSTEC. It may actively take part in multilateral institutions to promote stability, economic integration, and address common challenges. Given the emerging geopolitical and strategic scenarios, navigating complex geopolitical dynamics will pose a daunting challenge. India will have to promote and protect its strategic interests and regional stability. Of course, dealing with China will remain a complex challenge. It may plan a more balanced approach while maintaining strategic autonomy and engaging with major global powers like USA, China, and Russia. Managing a diverse coalition comprising parties with varied ideological leanings and regional interests will be a significant challenge for the India coalition leadership. Lessons may be drawn from historical precedents such as the United Front government of the 1990s, which faced substantial difficulties in maintaining unity. For the benefit of the young people, let me give some details. In the aftermath of the 1996 general elections in India, the fractured mandate resulted in a coalition government called the United Front. It comprised 13 political parties. The alliance formed two administrations between 1996 and 1998, led by prime ministers from the Janata Dal, that is H.D. Dev Gowda and I.K. Gujral. Both were from the Janata Dal. The 1996 elections saw the BJP emerge as the largest party but without a parliamentary majority. The Indian National Congress, despite a substantial seat count, declined to head the government and instead extended outside support to the United Front coalition. With the approval of the Congress and CPM, H.D. Deve Gowda was appointed Prime Minister. He served from June 1, 1996 to April 21, 1997. However, discontent over communication between the coalition and Congress led the latter to withdraw support for Gowda. As a compromise, the Congress agreed to back a new government under I.K. Gujral, who served as Prime Minister from April 21, 1997 to March 1998. The collapse of Gujral's government necessitated fresh elections, resulting in the United Front's loss of power. This period between 1996 and 1998, termed as the United Front experiment, was a time of significant political instability in India. The country witnessed some of its most turbulent political years, with the United Front governments being non-Congress and non-BJP alliances presenting themselves as an alternative to the two major parties. Despite the instability, this era reshaped India's political landscape in a profound way. Now let us come back to the present. To prevent fragmentation, the India coalition leadership will have to ensure an equitable distribution of key ministries and portfolios among coalition partners. They will have to develop a common minimum program that outlines a shared governance agenda and policy framework. To promote cohesion and prevent internal conflicts, robust mechanisms will have to be established. An electoral defeat for the BJP would trigger substantial restructuring within the party, Strengthening grassroots organization, addressing internal dissent, and revitalizing the party's support base could be on the agenda. There could be changes in the party's top leadership with fresh faces emerging to guide the BJP's future trajectory. The party may revisit ideological and policy positions to reconnect with the electorate. In this scenario, the BJP remains the largest party but fails to secure an outright majority. This would mean a partial rejection of BJP's dominance, but it cannot be described as a complete rout. This will compel the party to rely on the NDA allies to form the government. BJP will have to adopt an inclusive and consensus driven approach to governance. There could be a push for a leadership transition within the party. Already there are speculations about successors to Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. Although names like Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Yogi Adityanath have been bandied about, there are only two serious contenders. Rajnath Singh is a senior leader with extensive experience in various ministries. He is reputed to be a unifying figure. He could provide a steady hand during a period of transition. Nitin Gadkari is another candidate. He is known for his developmental work and pragmatic approach. His popularity extends beyond the BJP's traditional support base, making him a viable option for a more inclusive leadership. But if these two fail to retain their Lok Sabha seats, the RSS may back a fresh face to replace Modi. We all know that the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh or RSS is the ideological parent organization of the BJP. Its leadership has been smarting under the humiliations inflicted by the Modi regime, especially Modi himself personally. Now it might assert greater control over the party's direction and decision making, influencing both leadership choices and policy formulation. The RSS could emphasize a return to core ideological tenets and grassroots mobilization efforts. The organization's influence has historically played a crucial role in shaping the BJP's ideology and strategies. Its guidance might become more pronounced in this scenario. This could potentially lead to a shift towards a more socially conservative agenda and a renewed emphasis on Hindutva centric policies. Forming a stable government with reduced seats would be a challenging endeavor. To get support from smaller allies and independents, there will be intense bargaining for ministerial positions. Even policy objectives might be revised to accommodate the coalition partners. This could lead to a more decentralized decision-making process and potential dilution of the BJP's core agenda. For instance, there may be a shift towards more inclusive growth strategies, balancing market-oriented reforms with social welfare initiatives, etc. A more consensus-driven governance model may be fashioned to replace the centralized model under Modi's leadership. If Narendra Modi scores a thumping majority for the BJP, it would be a strong endorsement of his leadership and policies. This would reinforce his dominance in India's politics. He will further advance his agenda without significant opposition. Modi and Amit Shah's control over the BJP and the government machinery would become much stronger. Dissent within the party would evaporate and loyalty to the leadership could become a priority. There would be further centralization of power within the Prime Minister's office or PMO. He and his inner circle would tighten control over policy planning and implementation. His government will go for further liberalization of the economy, infrastructure, development initiatives, and efforts to bolster India's digital economy. He will continue with defense modernization, strategic autonomy, and an assertive stance in foreign policy. On the social front, expansion and strengthening of flagship programs like Ayushman Bharat or National Health Protection Mission, Swachh Bharat or Clean India Mission, and Digital India could be pursued to consolidate the BJP's welfare agenda. The Gujarat lobby, comprising influential figures like Amit Shah and other close associates of Modi from his tenure as Chief Minister of Gujarat, might continue to wield significant influence over policy decisions and administrative appointments. There might be an increased emphasis on business friendly reforms, industrial growth, and the replication of economic models from Gujarat on a national scale. Governance models and administrative practices from Gujarat could be extended to various ministries and departments, reflecting the Gujarat lobby's influence. In the aftermath of a resounding victory, allegations regarding Modi's mental health or personal conduct might surface as part of political speculation or opposition rhetoric. However, without credible evidence, such claims are unlikely to gain significant traction and could potentially backfire. This will further solidify his position. A thumping majority for Modi and the BJP would provoke polarized reactions from the public and the media. The supporters will celebrate continuity, stability, and reinforcement of Modi's mandate. There will be expectations of continued development, economic progress, and a strong leadership at the national and global levels. However, critics and skeptics would be concerned over the potential erosion of democratic checks and balances, the further consolidation of executive power, and the marginalization of dissenting voices. Apprehensions regarding social divisiveness and the undermining of secular principles could also gain prominence. The media landscape might become more polarized. The pro government outlets will amplify the BJP's narrative, while the critical voices will raise concerns over the democratic backsliding. The political future of India will be greatly influenced by the results of the 2024 Lok Sabha election results, as each potential scenario comes with its own distinct challenges and opportunities. The results may bring about a new coalition government, a restructured BJP leadership, or a reaffirmed mandate for Narendra Modi. It will transform India's governance, policy making, and the socio political landscape. By examining historical examples and comparing different scenarios, we can gain valuable insights into potential outcomes. This would better equip stakeholders for the ever changing political landscape.